So I finally finished this painting, and thought I'd show you, because I've had a comment from Ralph Hates You that can you show us some work that's finished, because you never ever seem to finish anything. Well, I take a long time to get a work to the stage that I'm happy with, and some take longer than others, and this one hasn't taken me so long. It's only taken, I don't know, a month to get it to the stage where I'm completely satisfied with it, and I'm ready to part with it and let it go out there and shine its little light. So I thought I'd take the opportunity to just talk about the work a little bit, to explain where I'm coming from and what it means. Initially, when I started the work, I'm an intuitive painter, so I didn't really have any preconceived idea of exactly what I was going to paint. But I know I wanted to use this eye symbology, and initially when I started the work, I had this feeling that people don't look at each other in the eyes anymore. There's none of that direct non-verbal communication. So I wanted to try and create this communication where there's this eye looking back at you. But as the work progressed, I had this feeling that I wanted to create this really textured, worn, weathered, layered effect. And as you've seen from previous videos of me working this painting up and hitting it with water and then sanding it back and then painting over it again, building up these layers, it's actually gone through quite a dramatic process in terms of physically. The work deals with chaos, and that all of the marks and layers and textures is basically a representation of chaos. Chaos in the world, chaos in our lives. Life's rocky. There's nothing set in concrete. It's constantly evolving, changing, and by creating all these layers and textures, that's the feeling that I wanted to create of this chaotic movement. And the lines horizontally going through the work symbolically represent like paths and journeys that we travel, and that each of us has a path to take, and that there is a path for us that's straight. It's an arrow, but it's straight, and it works its way through the chaos. So if we find like what we're meant to be doing in life, or if we find our purpose, then we're on the path, and we can basically weave our way through life in an upward direction. Now the eyes that I've put in the work, there's several eyes, some are more hidden than others, and this represents this sense of a higher being. I don't want to call it God, because I'm not talking about it in a religious sense, but there's this presence that has a sense of knowing that everything has a purpose, everything will work out, regardless of what we want. Like, it knows what our purpose is in this life. So there's like this sense of knowing that it knows, like it's wiser, and it knows, and it's always been there, and call it what you want, but it's always watching over us and watching out. And no matter how much we scream and say, why is this happening to me in my life, it knows what's right. So that's what the feeling of the work is basically about, is our journey through life. There's struggles, life's chaotic, but it's about finding our purpose and our path, and that there's this, higher being, well, or whatever, that knows what we're meant to be doing, and tries to guide us onto what we should be doing with our lives. Now I've used sort of like a wire effect in here that looks like a fence, and I've put that in the work to sort of represent barriers and resistance to finding our way through life. That there are these barriers that hold us from moving forward, but we just have to dig a bit deeper and try a bit harder, and basically they're there for a lesson to teach us something. And unfortunately life isn't always smooth sailing all the time, so we've just got to realise that when we come up against a barrier, that it's there for a reason, and there's something that we have to learn to be able to move on. I think this work has changed me somehow, in the fact that it made me really bring all of my little ideas together, all my little different techniques. It brought them all together in one painting and made me think, wow, bang, that's what I want to do. That's the type of work I want to make. Make at the moment, and this is what I'm passionate about. And I can spend months scratching away and digging and sanding and rubbing and burning and dropping and everything on an artwork, and it just won't work, and I just can't bring it together. And then there are times when you just do something so small, and it's when you surrender yourself. It's when you surrender to this, when you're trying too hard. If you try too hard, it just won't work. And it's when you surrender and just go, I'll stuff it, and you let go, that's when the magic happens. That's when your work will come to fruition. It will come together. It will grow. And although internally I know that, I know you need to be chilled out and not be so demanding on yourself. And like I know that, but to actually know it is, it just takes it takes a while to learn this lesson. And this painting has been a great teacher for that.